standing here on Canton near Harwood with Craig Melde, the owner of ArchiTexas. Now, Craig, I know you have your business in the neighborhood. You've been here a long time. You have a large investment in the neighborhood. How do you feel about the proposed cell tower that is proposing to come in this location right here at 1824 Canton?
Well, first of all, I'm absolutely opposed to it. I don't think there's anything that could set us back further than something like this. A little background, I've been down here since 1983 in the old Esco Tile Company building, and I've seen the area decline, certainly, in the 80s and 90s, and it really started turning around in the mid-2000s, and it's turned around in a very big way. With new businesses moving in, I've redeveloped a couple buildings down here. The new housing that's going in to the farmers market area, the city's commitment to the farmers market area, privatizing it and help funding it. So the area is definitely on the rebound to become a special area. As a matter of fact, Downtown Dallas Inc. has identified this area in their 360 plan as a residential neighborhood. And the introduction of something like this is, I think, some old thinking about this area. It's some old thinking that, well, that's a blighted area. Let's just go ahead and have something like this happen here. Well, I can tell you that there's nothing that they can do to this cell tower that could mitigate the adverse effect that it would have on this area, I believe. An 80-foot tall cell tower looming over this community garden and the reinvestment that's going in is not a good thing. And incidentally, I was at the city manager's office yesterday with Willis Winters in the meeting, and he mentioned that Marilla Street here is planned to become a pedestrian link, landscape pedestrian link from the farmers market to the convention center past the city hall. Having something like this would just have a very adverse effect to the quality of that experience. We don't need this kind of setback in our neighborhood. We're definitely on an upswing here, and we want to not only continue that, we want to stabilize it and then continue the growth in this area.
So where do we go from here? What is your suggestion for anyone who is listening to this story, who is a neighbor, resident, and a business owner in the area? What is your suggestion?
Stay informed. Look for things like this in your neighborhood. The notification needs to improve from the city side, I think. Maybe it was a good attempt, but somehow none of us knew about it if it hadn't been for this sign. And the city needs to recognize this is not a depressed area any longer. And that sort of planning and thinking needs to go into their decision making.
Well, it's extremely important that you get involved in your community, are engaged, and you participate.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you so much, Craig, for your time. Hi, I'm here with Buddy Jordan, chair of Encore Park, and we are talking about the proposed cell tower that is looking at going to the subject site behind us. How do you feel about the proposed cell tower that would go directly across from your new Encore community garden?
We're opposed to it for several reasons, one of which is we've already invested over $5 million in Encore Park, this property in which we're standing. We're going to be buying the building across and remodeling it substantially. It'll have a dramatically different look. We're going to restore all the old windows. When we're through with Encore Park, we'll have about $11 million invested in this, and we're restoring a historic buildings here, both 508 and 515 Park. We already own the Stew Pot building over there, this historic Otis Elevator building. And I think for this type of structure to be in this historic district is a mistake. I think there's other places for it that are better. But
Something that's come up through the conversation with several of the neighbors and residents is the concern that the neighborhood has worked so hard to promote economic development and revitalization. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm glad you brought that up because we're also members of the Farmers Market Stakeholder Association, which consists of property owners and business owners primarily, and that organization, which I'm active in, has spent a lot of money over a lot of years, and all the members of that have spent millions of dollars in the area, and I think I haven't polled every one of them, but I have a feeling they feel strongly the same way, that they would rather see the cell tower somewhere else. There's just probably a better process for approving this and putting it in the right spot in the area.
All right, thank you, buddy.
You're welcome.